Why, hello everybody, and welcome back to Dicing with Death. Carl, you are touching the late Baron's song.
The dead Baron song.
Yes. The late Baron song.
I'm not just touching him for the hell of it. I am casting a past life spell.
Ah, right. Okay, cool. You cast Past Life, and your vision swims before your eyes. You see through time and space back to an event the current Baron song has told you was 4 years ago. You see a bedroom.
A familiar looking bedroom?
Very familiar looking bedroom. It's organized a little differently, but same. A woman in her late 40s comes in and hands you a glass of wine, which you drink. She then walks...
Do I recognize the woman at all?
No. She walks behind a changing wall and begins to undress. You can see her gown gets tossed over the top of it.
Of course, there's a changing wall between...
Yeah. You see your hand and body shifting to the side of the bed and drawing a short sword from underneath the bed. You get up and start moving towards the wall before stopping and collapsing onto your knees. Your hands in front of you, the sword spins out to the side. Blood splatters on the ground, mixed with probably puke. And out from behind the wall comes a woman, half-dressed, with a large discolored spot on the inside of her right knee. She gives a bit of a smile at you as you look up at her and says, "He is your son," as everything begins to fade out and your head hits the ground. The vision swims before you. Can't tell if it's the spell ending or the life ending of the person. And then you snap back to the barrow.
Most interesting. Who is this woman? You said I don't recognize her, so it's
Never
not
seen her.
not Lady Redshield, not Lady Dysack.
Nope.
Would I know what the lady song, what his wife would have looked like?
Yeah, there are probably portraits of her hanging up. This looks like the late lady song.
It does.
It does.
He is your son. Is that Noken, or is there another? The wife is not in here as well, is she? Is the Lady Song buried beside him? Or is this the only sarcophagus in the tomb?
There is a second sarcophagus.
Mm-hmm. I don't have
Side.
a second spell, but perhaps another day. Who? I think that raises more questions than it answers.
You don't know how she died, or when she died.
He said she died shortly after, was my impression, but it wasn't clear how. Well, I sealed the sarcophagus back up. There weren't any insignia. I mean, I guess I'm already assuming that she was the Lady Song, but I didn't see any like house sigil on her that would confirm or house colors.
No, the clothes she was wearing were nice, fancy,
Adorned.
noble clothes, but there was nothing specifically songy about them.
Mm-hmm. Why did did he seem to go for the sword as the poison was kicking in? Like he collapsed and went, or
It was more she walked behind the wall, and then he reached out of bed.
Like he was gonna murder her, but she got to him with the poison first.
I think that's your impression. Yeah.
Well, I'll lock the tomb up for today. I don't have any more Past lives. I will return to my phantom steed and ride back to the castle,
Okay.
to the keep.
You make it back to the keep. Everything is going about its business like usual.
Yeah. Now the question that Georg's been pondering on his horse ride is, do I tell the current Lord's song that his mother murdered his father?
I don't know.
I'm gonna go see if I'll go have a conversation with him and gauge his reaction.
You find Baron Song in bed.
Sleeping off his hangover.
Yep. One of the servants is in the room, bringing him some soup, or taking away some soup dishes from him. He sees you approach.
Mm-hmm.
Gives a bit of a scowl. Says, "What do you want, Georg? Are you here to perform more witchcraft on my stomach? I'll have you know, it has been nearly a decade since I have hurled."
I apologize, my lord. Interdimensional folding can be quite hard on. No, the witchcraft is done for the day. I like look around. Are there servants?
The last one has just left.
Yeah, I like glare, give them the get out of here look as they leave the room.
They get out and shut the door behind them.
I visited your father's tomb today. Paid my respects.
He seems very uncomfortable. He doesn't, like he told you something last night and you're bringing it up this morning. He's like, shit, I didn't, damn it, that was...
Yeah, how that
goes.
I know sometimes that when we are in our cups, we say things that we don't mean. So I
Spit it
suppose
out, man. End this quickly.
I mean to give you a chance, now that you are sober, to rethink the questions you had asked, and ask yourself if you truly wish to know the answers.
Of course I wish to know. I would find the person who murdered my father and burn them alive.
Well,
Slowly. Over hot coals. We might have to build a brazen bull. Could you do that?
My lord, it is I pause for a second, like weighing this man, seeing if he truly, I guess he says he wants to hear it.
Speak up.
It was your mother.
My mother murdered my father.
With a glass of poisoned wine. Now, as I said, I only saw but a glimpse. It is possible that another poisoned the wine and she was merely the deliverer. But, well, are you familiar with Occam's razor? In any case, the gist of it is the simplest explanation is usually yes, was certain it was her. Is there a picture of her in this room?
Not in this room, in the hallway. You can find one.
Did I pass it on the way up? Mm-hmm. And I can double check that it was her?
They look a lot alike. If it wasn't her, it was someone who looked very similar, maybe a sister or a cousin or something.
Hold on then.
I mean, they look a lot alike, but paintings are never perfect, especially medieval paintings.
I never met your mother, so unless there were a twin or a doppelganger, I'm most certain it was her.
And tell me, Ark Georg, why would my mother murder my father?
This, you may treat this as a rhetorical question, but how well did you know their relationship? Your father, in his last breath, went for a blade. I think before the poison even began to kick in.
Now you're telling me my father tried to murder my mother, but my mother poisoned him first. Maybe Mother Ullman was right about you.
Well then, I suppose we'll have to scrub out all these impure thoughts and...
My mother died a few weeks after my father in a riding accident with Kel Crystal.
Perhaps it was hasty of me to jump immediately to blame your mother. It is possible that someone else poisoned the wine. That your father felt this poison in his veins and assumed, as I have, that he had been betrayed.
He says nothing else.
Before I leave, I'll actually say there. Actually, no. I think considering how poorly received this was, I'm gonna investigate this other son.
Okay.
Before shedding the light. I will leave, and I will actually take the key to the whatever with me. Like, unless he asks for it.
He does not ask for it.
The key to the tomb. And I will head into town, into Misty Rapids.
You arrive in Misty Rapids. Are you on your dark demon horse?
I am.
You come into town, and right along the road is that Temple of Purification.
Yeah, I
notice,
passed by the main temple first.
Let's take a look at the...
Right. Oh, okay, I come out between the two.
Yeah, I think you come out closer to the Purification Temple.
Yeah, on my way into town, I will cast my water-breathing spell.
Yeah, you come in right alongside
I need to root up a piece of straw, which conceivably can be found in
you can
the grass somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I show up right at the Temple of Purification. Mm-hmm. I'm not actually sure what my plan is. Rustle up some trouble and get tossed in the river?
Well, you see coming in that there's someone... The Temple of Purification has that wall around it and a watchtower sticking out of the northwest corner.
So do I know... Do you want to roll the d4 for water breathing, or should I? It's 1 hour per level plus 1d4 hours. Not that it will matter, but just...
I will roll it.
Okay, so 7 hours, 7 plus d4 hours.
Right.
D4 plus 7 hours.
Okay. So coming in, you notice that there is a person in the watchtower, and...
At the temple.
At the Temple of Purification.
This is the far end of the watchtower, isn't it?
Right, you're on the opposite corner of it, but it's still well above everything, and it can see out over a large distance, so that distance doesn't really matter. And as you make for the main road, stepping out from within the temple are a whole bunch of acolytes, and they move towards you in a menacing mob.
They block the path to...
Well, they're coming, so let's take a look at the map here. You're coming down the road, right? But they're coming from over here. So if you want, you can like avoid them and ride away quickly, but they are
No.
coming out to greet you.
I casually trot, but I don't like ride to them. I will, yeah. So I don't change my trajectory, and I'll probably even turn right at the road if they don't get to me and sooner. But
they hurry up.
Convenient if they were to surround me and accost me.
That's their intention.
Preferably publicly.
That's their intention, and they hurry to do it.
Okay, so I think, do we meet right at the main road and they surround me?
Yeah. They come up and surround you, and like last time, they reach out for you. Someone says...
Last time, I don't think I let them close with me. I teleported before.
Someone from the pack calls out, Ark Carl, you are here to pay for your sins, as the others come up and start to mob you and your horse. They grab onto your
horse remains eerily still. How many did you say were in the mob?
There's like 20 of them.
Okay.
They grab your clothes and start to physically
I've got the amulet
pull
around
you
my neck.
From the horse.
I need to remove the amulet from my neck and shove it into a pocket as they're bringing my horse down or whatever.
Okay.
So maybe someone watches. By the way, it is concealed. It gives off no alignment.
Right.
But it is still a bling and amulet, and hopefully it's all internal. But I still need to remove it from my neck and shove it into an internal pocket. I don't know if there's a clasp or if it's just like it has to go.
It goes over the head. So this means...
And I clutch it. It's not that big, right? I can take it in a handful.
Oh, yeah, you could hold the whole thing in one hand.
And so they just so they won't see the face of the amulet itself.
This does mean if it's in your pocket, you are down to 18 int. And any spells above the ones that you can normally
I haven't learned more than my...
Okay.
More than my 18 max spells per level.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm making a scene, I guess, while they're doing this. Unhand me, you villains.
We have you. You will not be escaping with your witchcraft this time. Someone runs back inside, and the
bells
that
so?
Begin to ring.
Do they actually start making grab attacks at me? Or how is this?
Like someone comes up and grabs your leg and begins to pull you, and someone goes on the other side, like
I'm resisting at least. Yeah.
They physically drag you down, and two people, one person on each leg, one person on each arm, and someone grabbing you by the middle. Someone takes your staff away from you, and your horse is quickly abandoned. Someone goes inside and starts ringing bells.
I would like it to be known that I totally let them restrain me. Like in actuality, I have spells I could cast. If I had a dagger in my hand, I would be getting opportunity attacks like crazy. It would just become a bloodbath. But I make a good go at it. You know what I mean? So I'm resisting. I don't know that we actually need to go through the effort of making them roll attack rolls.
Right.
But I make them roll attack rolls. If that makes sense. But I'm not going to draw steel or color spray them all or anything like that.
Get it?
So I let them drive. The horse, actually, I don't think they can really interact with, short of punching it to death.
They abandon the horse. They want nothing to do with your spooky-ass horse. As soon as you're off of it, they give it a good...
Well, and it stays in the exact same position, as if it were like a statue. It's just parked. And I don't know if they tried to tug it down. I don't even know if you can tug it down. Its feet don't touch the ground.
They ignore the horse. They want nothing to do with it.
Yeah, it doesn't actually have to be a horse. It could be a hoverboard with 13 HP and AC2.
It's not a hoverboard, it's a horse.
All right, if you say so. My flying Nimbus. Okay.
So the church bells ring, and many people start coming out of the town to look at out of their buildings and out of their shops and come down the road. Mother Ullman comes out of the Temple of Purification
with
a wry smile on her face. And she waits for a good crowd to gather. The people who have their hands around you, they kick your knees from behind and put you down so you're on your knees and a good 1.5 2 feet shorter than everyone else.
The dirt. At least now I'm on your level. What is the meaning of this, Mother?
Ark Carl, you are to be tried for crimes against humanity. You have brought this swarm of wraiths. You have caused unending darkness. And you have murdered many people. You will see the gods' justice. You will pass their tests if you are truly pure of heart and good of spirit. Otherwise, we will purify your soul in the river.
Let it be known that I have borne no crime against the good people of Misty Rapids. I do not restrain and harass their citizens. I look to the guys who are holding my arms or whatever. And I have slewn more wraiths in these cursed tether wilds than any man alive.
Save your words for later. The gods will be your judgment now.
By the laws of Misty Rapids, I am a free man, and you hold no sway over me, mother.
The laws
Gods,
of man,
on the other hand...
The laws of man are second to those of the gods. To the river!
Indeed.
She points.
Let the gods have their judgment then. And I try to pull myself free from these... from the people that are restraining me.
You can make a strength check, but there's like 4 of them on you. So
I go to stand and follow.
Oh yeah, they force you up, and 2 people on each side of you, making sure you don't go anywhere. And a large crowd with lots of whispering watches as they begin to drag you to the river. You guys come.
Tell me, Mother Ullman, have you knelt in judgment before the gods? Do you?
Every single day.
Does she really? She goes down and bathes in the river every single day, naked. Is that a thing?
No, but I think she means she kneels in prayer every day. You guys get down to the river right next to the bait and tackle.
How big of a crowd have we gathered?
Like 300 people, 400 people. It's a really good-sized crowd. Okay. And as they are bringing you to the water's edge, you hear, "Make way! Make way!" in a familiar voice. And the crowd parts. You see who else but the brand new sheriff.
Perfect.
Darren shows up along with some of the town guard. How big is the town guard? 10 men at arms. So the sheriff comes here with 5 guys. Pushes his way through the crowd and says, "Hey, I'm the new sheriff in town."
I smile for a second
and what are you doing, Mother Ullman? This man is a loyal servant of Lord Song.
Please, Darren, Sheriff, I say, I have informed the good mother that she is well outside of her rights to restrain me. She has no legal authority here. However, she has called for divine judgment. Apparently, these people have called for divine judgment. So let it be so.
He looks awkwardly as the crowd kind of watches him to see what he does, and then he just kind of takes a few steps backwards and tries to blend in.
There will be no blood drawn between good citizens of Misty Rapid on this day.
Mother Ullman cracks a smile and wades into the water until she's about...
Is she wearing her clothes?
Hip deep, yep. They get soaked. And she says, "Bring him forward." And you get...
No, I say as I'm about to enter the water. I must enter the river free of the trappings of this material world. I will see the gods as they first saw me, and if they'll give me enough space, I will disrobe right there on the shores of the river. Mostly because I don't want to get my robes and shit wet.
Do you get your robe soaked? You walk back to the keep, and then when the spell expires, water just falls everywhere because they're in your pockets.
I don't even know how that would work. Do the extra dimensional pockets fill up with what? I don't find out. I disrobe right there on the shore, and fold up my robes and set it on the ground, I think. And and naked as the day I was born, follow Mother Ullman back into the river.
Mother Ullman pauses as you begin to walk in the river and looks between her acolytes and then out to the crowd and says, "Ladies and gentlemen, Ark Carl here willingly accepts the judgment of the gods. She looks like she's about to say something, but can't quite find
She's distracted
the right
by
words.
my strapping young body. Intrigued and by the grotesque nature of my scars.
She motions to the
She can't
acolytes,
take her eyes away.
and they drag you into the water and hold you down.
Mm-hmm.
You can
I like
breathe.
shout as I'm going. Yeah,
What do you shout on your way down?
something like may all the gods look upon me as a. And I thrash around for a couple of minutes. I put on a good show, but I'm breathing water the whole time. So I mean, do they like? How is the restraining going? Like, are they shaking me? Or
There's four people. And they just hold you down with their heads above water, and that's it.
Okay. You can. Okay. What is it like? 1/3 your con in minutes normally. Okay. So I'm breathing water, and I thrash around for what I estimate is probably like 5 or 6 minutes. So an unnatural amount of time. That's not an unnatural, but like, holy shit, does this guy have 18 con? And then I'm gonna swallow a couple mouthfuls of river water and stop thrashing.
Okay.
And I guess keep a mouthful. So I don't know if I can regurgitate water from my stomach at will, but it's there. Okay, never mind.
I don't think you can
There's
keep
the
it on
mouthful
command.
at least.
But yeah, you got a mouthful. They hold you underwater for a good minute after you stop thrashing.
Feign death could have also been useful, huh? I wonder if you. I don't know. Okay, but it's fine.
And then you feel the hands releasing from you, and then kind of someone pulling up. I guess you don't have a shirt. They pull you up by your shoulders.
I go as limp as I can.
Okay. And you break the surface. Your head is kind of bobbing on the top, so sometimes the water covers your ears and you can't hear. Sometimes, one ear is above the water and you can't hear. But basically, the gist of what you are hearing from these people, which cuts in and out, Mother Ullman is saying something to the effect of, "The gods have passed judgment on Carl."
Do they remove me from the water?
No, they'll let you kind of like bob in the water, and they hold you so you don't float downriver.
Mm-hmm.
The gods have passed their judgment on Carl, and he was found wanting. An evil man in life, and an evil man in death. Were he pure, he would not have died. People look.
I think so. I was hoping they'd drag me onto shore and this would happen on shore, but she's already condemned me evil. So at this point, I roll myself over and start thrashing again and spitting up water.
People kind of back
And
away a
like,
little bit.
sit up, and I guess they've let go of me. Is that what I understood?
Yeah, they kind of let go of you as you start to thrash around and get to your feet.
And I stand up, look around with a shock, like pretending I'm getting my bearings for a minute or so. And so I let Mother Ullman react. And
she looks between her people and say, "Again!" And they grab you and drag you back into the water.
I have seen into. Okay, I guess I repeat the charade. Let's see.
This time they hold you down for like 15 minutes. You're underwater for a long time. There are 4 of them. They've got a pretty good hold on you.
That's why I'm like, at what point do I? It's a really strange ritual. I'm trying to figure out at what point it's not reasonable for me to keep going. Okay, well, I am actually putting up a fight.
Okay.
Yeah, I
give me a
think let's
strength
put up a
check.
fight. I think let's start rolling opposed strength checks / rolls to hit or whatever. So you're saying the 4 of them. I don't think I even let them get. I think I'd like to. I mean, you can tell me if I'm. I guess you can give it a surprise round. But you said they stood back, let me stand up.
Yeah.
I don't think I would let them lay hands on me again. I think I would like to roll initiative. If you want to declare that I'm surprised and let them make grab attacks before it starts.
Yeah. You failed.
But
your
I
surprise
think
check.
let's play out a simulated resistance and see how. Yeah.
I think you failed your surprise check, so they get a grab on you and drag you back under. But you can make a opposed strength check this next round.
I think I get one before they can even drag me down, right? They make it if they're doing an overbear or whatever.
Sure, make an opposed strength check.
24.
They drag you down.
Okay. I keep thrashing. I mean, I guess I make it a strength check every round.
Sure.
Maybe it doesn't actually matter. Maybe I'll just wind up rolling 15 post strength checks. And
That's what we're gonna do, I think. Because I'm making. Each
I
of
did
them
get a critical
strength
on the
check.
third round.
So you'd have to beat all 4 of their strength checks, basically.
What do you mean all 4 of them? Usually you roll 1 for the group and give a bonus depending on the numbers.
Yeah, that is how an overbear works. Okay.
Sure. But it doesn't. I don't know that quite scales if you have. Oh no, it should be just fine. I think it's like +1 for every member of the group, and then.
I think when 4 people are holding you down underwater.
I mean, there are rules for this.
There are rules. I guess you're not drowning because you can breathe underwater. So. There's no need for battle.
Even if I were drowning, I would. I mean, it's not a big deal because I can breathe water. But I feel like if this were actually life or death, I would be arguing like crazy. Because you can't just like. Yeah, I mean, let's see what overbear is. But I think they just make a strength check at the average, or maybe it's the highest, and
If the
add
attacker
plus.
hits, they must make a strength check against the defender. Use the strength of the largest attacker and apply the following modifiers. +1 for each additional attacker.
Yep. So they get a strength check at whoever's the strongest with +3.
Okay.
Right.
Sure. Let me roll their strength real quick. Find the average.
I mean, maybe once they, but I guess that's not every round though. That's the first time.
Mm-hmm. Wow. They all have 11 strength.
So I'm knocked down. The
Super
defender can be pinned and restrained if he is successfully overborne again in the next round. But to break from being from a pin, it's just an opposed strength check, right? Probably with the same modifiers.
Yeah.
Although that has to be an action on the part of the
I
defender.
think that there should be some benefit for someone being on their back. Like, if you're standing and trying to wrestle someone down, that's one thing. But if someone's already on top of you, that's a pretty good bonus. You know?
You can do. I mean, you can always do your own. There's a -4 penalty if the defender.
It's for more
Defender
legs.
has extra legs. I was thinking I have less legs.
Yeah, you have less legs.
I mean, if you want to, I feel like if this were like this, I don't know if you want to argue realism or whatever believability of the system versus fairness, but this would make a player very angry if they didn't have water breathing. Like the fact that you can just like be drowned, and I mean,
But I think that's also like very angry, but also quite reasonable. If you are fighting in a river with someone and they like just overbear you and drown
I guess
you,
I'm not seeing why the rules need to be modified to make it easier to drown someone. I mean,
I'm trying to say, once you're overbeared,
they
whether
already
you're
get
on
a
the
+1 per attacker.
whether you're on ground or in the water, once you've been overbeared, I think it should be easier to pin you down with 4 people than it would be to knock you down. I think when you're on your feet, you are more resistant to being knocked down, and once you're on your back, you're more likely to be stuck.
So like a penalty to
See, penalty to your strength check is what
for
I'm
being
saying.
prone. A penalty. Yeah,
That's what I'm looking for here.
just fine. And 4 is the penalty or is the bonus for being 4-legged. I don't think it should certainly be less than that, on order or less than that.
I think on order is fair. Because you have
-4 penalty, and I think so
Yeah,
-4 penalty to strength checks for being prone.
Okay, so you get a -4 penalty. Their guy gets a +3 penalty, a bonus.
Yes.
So let's do some strength checks.
I already rolled the first 3. I didn't include that penalty of 4.
Okay.
So I get a 20, a 21, and a 27. I crit the third.
Pass the first one. The 21 is... What does ties go to? And
Often the defender, and I did crit that. They rolled a 27? Or are you saying they rolled a 21 the second time?
The second time they rolled a 21.
We can hold off, and I can just burst forth with that crit after three more minutes.
Yeah, the next round, on the third one, the crit, you push them aside and break above the water. The crowd is there, and you
I would like to... I guess that was my action. So I'm going to go for Mother Ullman. And as I burst forth, I'm shouting, "Enough!" And I'm diving from... So I presume I broke the grab, and I'm free to move.
Yeah, you've broken free of their arms.
Grab her that round, but do you want me to roll initiative?
Yeah, let's roll initiative for this next round. In fact, if we're going to actually really battle this out, let's...
I don't think it's going to be a battle, but I will...
Okay.
I think I'd like to grab her.
Roll me initiative, please.
7.
Okay. You break free, you scream enough, and Sheriff Darren and his armed guards pushed their way to the front, and Darren is pointing to Mother Ullman with his hammer drawn, saying, "Enough, Mother Ullman! The gods have chosen!" She ignores him, and
I have borne myself to the gods and seen their judgment. All of the gods, not just your Mother Earth.
Mother Ullman cries, "Witchcraft! Sorcery! He defies the judgment of the gods! Drown him!" The men around you go on 7.
Mm-hmm.
They go on 12, so you go next.
Okay. So I was, as this conversation was going, I was going to grab Mother Ullman.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
And I grab her by the...
You slip between the
by
men.
the throat. 10, that should be enough unless she's dexterous or armored or...
No, you grab her by... Well, you grab her. Probably
I
not
grab her like by the... She's still wearing her clothes, right?
Yes, she is.
I look her intently into the eyes as I continue shouting like so the crowd can hear, but I'm like speaking to her. I have gazed upon the heavens, stared into the abyss, and the gods have gazed back at me. I have passed your petty... I try to barf up some water if I can. Mm-hmm. If not, I just spit a lot into the river. Your petty material test. I'm glaring at her, still holding on. So I guess maybe at this point the
they stop.
Guards go to grab me.
They see you've got a hold of her and that you did not drown.
Mm-hmm.
You may have doubts of whether or not Mother Ullman is a true believer or a power-hungry Mongol, but her fanatics are true believers, and your trial has shown them something, and they are unsteady.
I recommend that perhaps you should kneel before these purifying waters yourself, Mother. The clarity was quite refreshing.
Give me a charisma.
And I give her like a charisma check.
Give me a charisma check, Ryan.
What's my charisma? Only 11. Nope. Nope.
No.
It would have been rousing, but it's just arousing as my junk. How deep is the water here?
Probably thigh high.
Yeah, so it's like the most awkward water level possible.
Yes.
My business is just sort of awkwardly floating and bobbing. As I give her like a gentle shove. I like release her, but push her backwards and turn to walk to the shore.
The warm waters are quite soothing and elongating as you make it back to shore.
I step on shore and turn to face the river as I put my robe back on over my head.
There is a murmur running through the crowd. Darren and his troops push people aside and clear the path for you to walk back to your horse.
Okay, I do that. I will whisper to Darren as he escorts me back. I thank you, Sheriff, for your loyalty and your respect of the law, but You would do well to be careful who you ally yourself with. You are a servant of the people. And...
Huh? He seems most confused. And maybe a little offended.
Maybe I don't... A little what?
Maybe a little offended.
A little offended?
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I'd bother to clarify.
But you...
Trying to think what advice I actually wanted to give him.
As you...
I feel like yeah.
As you walk back to your horse, the crowd that had gathered follows you.
Mm-hmm.
The church bells are still ringing up at the Temple of Purification, and only more people are showing up now. You can hear them asking.
Yeah, when I realized there's a crowd, maybe as we're still walking back, or maybe we got back to the horse and I'm mounting the shadow horse.
Mm-hmm.
I'll like address the crowd for a second. Let's say, beneath the waters, I drowned, and it all went white. As I said before, I gazed into the abyss and it gazed back, and I felt the gods' warmth and their chills and their love and their hate, not just Nadinus, but all of the gods. And apparently their soul, their judgment fared kindly upon me.
What's the afterlife like? Shouts one person. What happens after death?
That is not for us to know.
But you saw it. What is it?
I came close. I glimpsed into the void. And let me tell you that I am grateful to still be alive. Do not seek such knowledge if you are not prepared to face your own soul. I go off on a tangent. In the east, there is a temple unearthed beneath the Dysec lands. A temple to all the gods.
Anything else?
At some point, I think I'll cut through the crowd with my horse and head down the main road, actually, to the east.
The crowd follows.
Okay.
Heals.
Oh, cool. Okay, then I will actually lead a pilgrimage to the temple. If
you take everyone to the temple.
Yeah.
They follow. And it's hours away. And you probably lose a few people along the way, but as you pass villages, people come out to see what's going on. And soon your crowd swells from a few hundred to about 1,500 people by the time you get to the to the temple.
I don't proselytize or anything, but I will like make conversation with those around. Like if they do ask more questions about like life after death, Georg or Carl is perfectly happy to conjecture on the nature of the universe and reality, and talk metaphysics over the heads of these townsfolk.
You make your way to the temple.
Mm-hmm.
It is there with the big arch of Nadinus over it. There's a few people stationed about that look like, not clerics, but priests or acolytes. They see on a black silent horse riding towards them the infamous Arch Carl leading well over 1,000 people to their temple. And not knowing what to do, they stand aside. One person kind of tries to strut forward and put himself in the way and says, what is the meaning of this?
I dismount and I say,
What is this?
We come to visit with the gods. And I just go walk towards the entrance.
Okay. The entrance is magically lit as you guys go down. Not everyone can fit in here.
Yeah. I don't think I hang around. I've led said pilgrimage. I've already done more than I actually intended to do. But I do wish to imply that this is a temple to all. And I assume that once people enter, they'll start arguing about what they see, right? One person will be like, "Oh, it's such a beautiful visage of the mother," and it's like, "What? That's a man."
Right.
No, it's a two-headed god of judgment, or whatever crazy visions they see.
You come back down and still see before you the statue of Malchus. The crowd argues...
I'm not wearing the amulet, by the way. Do I still see Malchus?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Even if Georg considers himself a fairly irreligious man?
Yes.
Okay.
People argue, of course, as you said.
Yeah,
exactly
I'll
as you
tell
said.
them.
They debate the nature of the statue before them. People touch it. Someone tries to climb it, but doesn't really get anywhere. And other people drag him down and begin to beat him for climbing the statue. Not badly, just a
Try
couple
and keep
of
the
good.
beatings to a minimum, but
Yes.
children of chaos. At some point, I'll say, what you see before you is an altar to all of the gods. When we gaze upon it, we see, well, it is more of a mirror. We see the reflection of our best selves.
What do you see, Carl? What do you see?
Alas, I see it for what it truly is.
What does that mean? What does it mean?
I like to go out and touch it. A simple pillar upon which the world rests.
He sees the staff of the world.
But each of you may see the staff in your own likeness, or the likeness of the mother, or the father. Do I reinforce the strength of magic and tell them it's just a magic item enchanted to show this? Whatever. I'll eventually leave and let them spread.
Well, as you talk about this pillar and you see it for a staff, someone shouts up that you see that the staff of the world that holds, or the staff that holds the world up. A couple people in the front row begin to get down on their knees, and in a wave-like fashion, it kind of flows backwards. And you're not sure whether they're worshiping you or the statue, but you're standing right next to it. And soon the room is flooded with people worshiping something.
Truth be told, this makes Georg a bit uncomfortable, but breathe in the stale air beneath the earth. Look up. Are there roots coming in through the ceiling? We're underneath that giant tree, right?
This building is got a stone ceiling.
Okay. I guess if they stay knelt, at some point I'll leave and push my way through the crowd, touching them as I go.
Okay. You make your way out.
I don't need any more shows of power, do I? Look at these lightning bolts out before me. So many souls. Chat says, "Cast." I don't have fly memorized. Sorry, guys.
You guys make it. You make it out.
Mm-hmm.
People all the way back up the tunnel are whispering and wondering. But everyone sees the people before them bowing, and so as you walk out, they can't. There's not enough room anymore for people to actually get on their knees. But there's a lot of people bowing their heads to you. Maybe
Great
not
form
sure of what
Great
other.
form would have been a nice touch. Don't have that one either.
There's a lot of subjugation and self-subjugation and bowing going on.
Hey,
as
if
you
it's
make it back out to
consensual.
your horse. A few people follow you as you get to your horse.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?
I think I ride into the plains, leaving the people here to... Actually, no. How much does my horse... Can I featherfall my horse and then teleport both of us? Dimension door, 500 pounds of non-living or half that of living. Reduce... How much does a spectral steed weigh?
probably more than 250 pounds, like 500 pounds.
Is it living? You're going to consider it living, at least for the purposes of teleporting it around?
Mm-hmm.
I can cast Featherfall on any creature, though.
Mm-hmm.
Creature or creatures. How many? The wizard or some other creature or object. It's one or more objects or creatures in a 10-foot cube. As long as the maximum weight of the creatures does not exceed 200 pounds plus 200 pounds per caster level. So 2 times 8 is 1,600 pounds. How much does a horse weigh?
Less than that.
Okay, so I can cast Featherfall on my Phantom Steed and myself, making us weightless-ish. Wait, and a weight limit of 600. Wait. Okay, for example, second level. Okay, yeah. So we're weightless. I ride atop my steed and Dimension Door into the Tether Wild so that they don't know where I go and like disappear.
As you teleport from
spells.
exactly where you are, or do you ride out a little bit?
No, I teleport from exactly where I am. So I like get atop my steed and cast 2 spells. They're both single word. They're both verbal. One casting time 1. So just a couple of arcane utterances. I don't have any good last words to tell them, so I think I'm just like, boop, and teleport 300 whatever yards into the plains and ride back to the keep.